Ruffy's leg. Rolling.
And we're live.
It was live, yeah.
Live.
Oh,
Welcome.
Let's put that cord under the thing.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
gonna drive me crazy, aesthetically. I like, I have a design eye, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, welcome. Welcome to the live.
Windshield wiper, hello.
Well, we got one person.
What?
Two people.
What?
Oh, my gosh.
Hey, this is
Really?
awesome. We've never had anyone.
We've never had a live.
No.
So-
Wait, that's our second live.
This is our second one?
Yeah, remember we did one
Oh, right.
in September.
We didn't tell anybody about
No,
it. That was kind of
yeah.
like a surprise, you know?
But we did tell people about this one. Maybe
We
that's
did.
why.
We did. We have two people. Well, thank you for
We are
joining
so
us.
grateful. We hope to not waste your time here today.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
not.
So without further ado,
Yeah, so we today we're going to do a deep dive
yeah.
into essential strategies for protecting your rental property assets and the must-know laws for every first-time landlord. So my name's Ian Starr. I'm a real estate professional with about 8 years of experience in DFW. But, managing and protecting your properties and investments, whether you're a seasoned investor or just starting, understanding how to protect your assets is critical. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today.
Yeah, these are like hot topics. Not just because we think so, but because the web tells us.
Yeah.
The internet told us these are hot topics. So
So,
everything that's on the internet's true. Right.
Of course it is.
That's fake news.
Oh, we lost somebody.
Oh boy.
Hey, thanks for coming though.
Fake
We
news.
do enjoy that
They
you
probably
came.
left 'cause I
And
gave
there's
fake
another, and we're down to zero. That's fine.
news. Okay.
Well, everybody, hot topics. Everybody wants to be, I think, a real estate investor,
Yeah.
right? Even if it's like a pipe dream, or if it's,
Mhm.
you're young, you're starting out, you don't even know what to do, but you know what, you want to buy rental properties.
Yeah.
Hey, good for you. This is going to be,
Mhm.
kind of like a little bit of a refresher for some,
Mhm.
but for those new people into the space, hopefully you get some good information from this.
Yeah. And the thing is that do we believe everybody's suited to buy rental property? The answer is no. And the reason why is because when we qualify people, we say if you're able and if you're willing. And if you're able and willing, that is what we call is a right person to buy rental property. And that's not a bad thing. You grew up thinking like some parents said you could do anything when you grow up. Mine damn sure didn't tell me that. But
Neither here nor there.
okay, but my point is that's not really true.
Yeah.
You can't really do
but
anything.
to qualify it,
Okay.
not everybody can do it.
No.
Everybody's capable.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You're capable of becoming a rental property investor, but not
Yes.
everybody can do it at that point in their life where they are.
Where they are. Plus, they might not really truly have the drive because
Mhm.
that's the thing. This decision isn't about like the amount of effort you'd put into like what kind of pizza am I going to order tonight?
Yeah, what toppings do I want? No.
That's like such a fleeting idea. No, because this is a commitment. It's like a relationship. You're not going to just wake up one day and be like, I'm going to marry that person that you just met,
Mhm.
and then you never.
For some,
but you
but-
fully carry it through.
you need to,
Like most people, well, I can't say most, but
I would say most people,
you got to really make a decision. I'm going to do this, and you're not going to.
and that's what stops a lot of people, I'd
That's what
say.
stops. Yeah, because
Um,
it's an active investment.
It's an active investment.
Yeah.
It's not passive. You are definitely going to do work. You're going to do more work than you think, especially if you don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
You can read as many articles as you want, but every house is different. Every house is going to have different problems. It's like a fingerprint. Every single house is different.
Yeah.
So, we hope that this will give anybody and everybody kind of an insight on how we think about it, the smart ways to do it that we have used and have had experience and been successful in it. So, like we always say, there's 1,000 ways to do certain things.
Yeah.
But we're just telling you about the way that we've done it, and it's worked for us. So
That's right. And by the way, so Ian mentioned he's Ian. I'm Heather, and I've been in real estate. This is going on my 21st year.
21st year.
Yeah.
Your
Since
real
03.
estate career is able to drink legally in Texas now.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Wow.
your career as a
Cool.
young adult.
That's awesome. I like my career's like an adult.
How
I
about
like that.
So yeah, just, you know,
That's pretty cool. Yeah, this October, I started in October of 2003.
really
So this is October 5th, I think.
fourth.
4th? Okay,
Today's the
so
4th.
Today's fair day. Ian and I are going to the fair with some of our friends. We're so excited.
Texas State Fair.
Texas State Fair.
Yeah,
Love it.
it's gonna be awesome.
We're so excited.
But join us.
Well,
Come on and
Okay,
meet the team
come on.
from Mile 27. We're going to be at the Texas State Fair October 4th at 5 to closing.
meet us near Big Tex. Okay.
If you see us, say hi.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, yes, I'm Heather, and then we have a little furry Rocky.
You can see his leg.
You can see his leg and his tail. And yeah, so basically, so what we're gonna? Oh, we wanted to tell you real quick. We just met a milestone
Oh yeah.
that you tell them.
You want me to?
Yeah.
Okay, so all of Heather's hard work, pretty much, because like
Aw.
she's been doing like videos for years and years and years, but we've never been able to get anything really, from it.
Yeah.
But now we have.
Yeah.
We are celebrating our 50th uploaded video on YouTube.
Woo!
Woo! Thanks, Tony.
Yeah.
Tony.
Thank you, Tony Smith.
Tony Smith. He's our guru.
Yeah.
Helping us.
He's
get
like
the
he's our client. I think we've done 4 real
Four
estate deals with him, and one of them was we helped them sell one of their rental properties.
buy rental.
Buy
sell
rental. Did they live in it though? Didn't they live in it?
They lived in it for.
That's right. So it was a move up.
It was a move
So it
up.
was a move up. They bought it, lived in it, turned it into a rental. Then we helped them sell it.
Sell it, and then they bought another house.
Yeah.
So now they're going to be their primary residence. But
Right.
yeah.
But so we helped, and then Tony went on business himself this year,
mhm.
and then we became one of his marketing clients. So we're so excited to work with him, and we just love him. So big shout out to Tony Smith and his wife Ling, and we just love you guys, and we're so honored. But because of Tony, he was able to take all those videos again. Well, we made new videos for those 50 videos, but still, he was the one that got us launched. That's just the part Ian and I can never do. We don't have that.
No, we
skill.
don't. We don't know.
You
You don't know what you don't know
Yeah.
until you ask Tony.
Yeah.
And then he tells you how it's done.
Yeah, and then because we hired the right person, he was able to execute our vision.
Yep.
And that's why good partners matter.
And that's why we're here.
Yeah.
And that's why we're on a live.
Yeah.
So we're getting things done.
Yeah.
And we're getting our message out to people.
Yeah.
We're going to help you. We're going to help you in any shape, way, form that we can to help you get, a better education on what you should do in rental property management.
Yeah. Like
It's
our
that
job
simple.
is to help either talk you out of it, because we honestly talk people out of it as much as we help those that are willing to actually execute. And then the second thing is if you're willing, if you move forward to the step of like, yeah, you're willing and able and you want to do it, then we help you execute. And then the third thing is once you execute and close, then we help you just next level it. Not necessarily, and if you want to buy more, great, but it's about taking that one asset and making it an active business so you can really maximize the opportunity that's misunderstood. And we're gonna just hop. I guess that kind of takes us to our first question: how to protect your rental property assets.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of ways you can do this. Now, if you are level 101 level investor,
It's like first property.
this is not something you need to pay a lot of. Okay,
Attention to
it's
it
all,
first.
but it is a kind of all relative. Because say it's your first rental property, and you have a lot of assets. If you have a lot of assets and it's your first rental property, this is something you need to probably put in effect a little sooner. Okay, but we work with a lot of what we call normal people, and we're normal people that grew up very normal, and our parents weren't hedge fund managers, and we just we just scraped our way right out of where we came from.
Well, poverty.
Yeah,
You could say that.
we had lower middle class.
I mean,
Probably where I was.
Yeah.
Like we never had savings. We were always in debt. I never even understood.
it's not poverty. That's a bad word.
Yeah, because
Not a bad
like,
word. That's the wrong word for it.
I did have meals. They weren't consistent, but I did eat. And then, listen to me. I never
You were
not had
hungry.
electricity, and I never came home, and there was never an eviction notice on the door.
Okay. Well, maybe you were just
and we went on one
just
vacation
normal
a year. But nonetheless, we're normal
people.
people that had no ever real understanding or pathway on how to become and pursue the journey of millionaire and growing wealth.
Yeah.
And there was nothing.
Never talked about it. Never thought about it. It wasn't a thought. I think the most that we thought about is like, oh, make sure to buy a lottery ticket this week.
Exactly. I think that's about right.
Lucky.
I think that's about right. And then that would have just passed on this systemic kind of just getting by, And I think that's where a lot of America is. Like, they can't afford the Starbucks, even though it's $8. But they can't afford it. I mean, technically they can't really afford it, but because they can
their
pay
priorities,
for it.
Their priorities are,
right.
They have their own priorities.
Yeah.
However they look at them. We're trying to make the priority to gain wealth through real estate ownership.
Right. Okay. So if you come into this like with already a bunch of assets, this would be something you would do sooner.
Mm-hmm.
If you come into this normal people like Ian and I, this is not something I bought my first rental property in 2006. I didn't make an LLC in until 2014, I think, to protect my rental property. Yeah, I didn't make it until 2014.
Well,
just to give you an idea.
Yeah, so it's like similar with
you turned yours in with property, your first property in what, 4 years ago?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it was 4 or 5.
2019.
Oh, so 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
And you just made your LLC last year.
Well, yeah, LLC for my business, but the LLC for the properties.
Oh,
they're underneath the already.
Oh.
But that's a different property. I'm sorry, that is a different LLC under my wife and my mother-in-law's name, and that one has all the property underneath.
When did that get made?
That was made, I think, like 3 years ago.
And when did your mom start investing?
Like early 2000s, maybe sooner.
Okay, so she started. Yeah, it was like
20 years.
It was like 1998, 1999,
something like that.
And then she made an LLC 3 years. Yeah, she made
3 years
it
ago,
20
and it wasn't
years
even
later.
her that even decided on it.
Right.
It was me and her daughter.
Yeah,
my wife. That was like, hey, we need to protect these assets because she had all these different homes and they weren't protected.
And that was that from learning about this in our job?
Through working in real estate, through understanding, listening to you and when you would tell me about your properties, because I didn't have any properties until I met you.
Yeah.
And then you kind of explain things like, you got to be protect your assets, you got to protect your for lack of a better word, protect your ass.
Yeah.
You need to cover your ass.
Yeah.
Because not to say people have bad intentions, but you definitely can find the people that
just takes one.
Just takes one to kind of ruin your I guess your taste on renting. And or being a rental property owner, because we've had clients where we're talking to them about their past experiences, and you can tell regardless of how far away it was or how long ago it was, they are still pretty raw from that experience. So
right.
It only takes one to really mess up the whole experience of being a property owner. So to be proactive, to be kind of like up on your Texas property code and laws for being a landlord, I think it's very important.
Yeah.
And so, this is just getting you. What is it? Putting the bug in your ear.
This is like it's like sometimes we learn things, but we don't use them for years, and that's okay. It's about having a general ideology and comprehensive look about this world that you will be entering into if you're able and willing. And you might already be a rental property investor watching this, and then maybe you want to grow, maybe you want to elevate, maybe you want to organize, maybe you want to next level your business. And these are tools that will help you do that. But basically, so how to protect your rental property assets. So you're going to have your main tool is going to be your LLC, limited liability corporation, which was a wonderful tool created, I think it was in the late 60s or the 70s, when there was trying to be a dissection between the personal, which companies have been around years before the LLC. The LLC is a relatively modern tool, maybe for the small business owner, to do what corporations do. Because
separate personal from business.
That's exactly
your
right.
Assets.
Yeah, and so that's what it does. It's a corporate veil. It allows your business to act as one entity. Your LLC will have its own tax return.
Mhm.
You have your personal return, like Ian and his wife filed jointly. I'm currently single, hopefully not forever, but
Gentlemen,
today.
single
And so
lady.
I file my single taxes, just whatever that's called, one person tax.
Individual?
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
One person taxes.
and then I also file LLC taxes, okay, and Ian does too, and in the income and the expenses flow through the LLC, and they don't have to do it perfectly, but like for example, you're supposed to have a bank account connected with your LLC. Well, maybe you're not supposed to. You should. That's the best way to do it. But if you don't do it like that, you can still write off your expenses through the LLC. That's the most organized way to do it. But that's how you protect your personal assets. What's a personal asset? Your car. What if you have a paid off car that's worth $50,000? That's an asset. What if you have a house? Maybe your personal primary home isn't paid off, but what if you have literally $100,000 of equity, which is pretty much not true, but that's not an uncommon story for anybody that bought after 2021. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like very, in our
yeah.
market, that's no matter what price point you're at, I would argue you're probably close to have that. But that's an asset.
Yeah.
Okay. Even though you have debt against that, even if it's worth 500 and you owe 300, you have 200,000 of equity. Well, that is an asset. That if you get sued, somebody can go out. The lawyer will know to go after that.
Because it is, they don't differentiate, well, they might need this car, or they might need this house. It's like they don't care.
No,
they're gonna take
those are your assets.
They're in the business to make themselves money,
right?
And you have the money that they want.
Yeah, and especially if you have straight up cash, and what's cash? Cash is literally money in the bank. Cash is money you have invested in crypto. Cash is money you have invested in the stock market or your Vanguard. That's called cash. It's liquid money, liquid assets.
And that's what they're going to go after.
And they will go after all that if you get sued. And why could you get sued? Well, anybody can sue anybody for any reason. The onus is put on them to the case.
Provide the evidence.
But there's so many crapshoots. What if you get a jury trial and there's empathy? What if the tenant is they know the system? That happens. People are just, what if they're
cunning.
Just crazy? Yeah, they're cunning. What if you have a really sneaky lawyer and then you decide I'm not going to have a lawyer? What, they don't have a case, and then you're wrong. There's so many elements, but we're not trying to scare you, because here's the fact. When you swim in the ocean, you could get bit by a shark, but you probably won't. And that's the risk you take, right?
That's a good way to
Thank
put it.
you.
I like that.
Thank you. And I swim in the ocean. I'm going to keep swimming in the ocean, metaphorically and physically, But you could do the LLC. So what you want to do with the LLC, you're going to start a name search. And the Secretary of State for most states is usually where you do this name search. Mm-hmm. And you want to do a name that's not connected to the property. So you probably wouldn't call it your first and last name property.
Yeah. You want to, it's meant to be not hidden.
Yeah.
But it's meant to be a way to divert the attention from your assets away from your personal assets, right?
That's correct.
Right. So, if say somebody let me just put it into a little bit of an example.
Okay.
So you have a house, you have a renter. The renter gets hurt at the property. They would like to sue you, right? They want to sue you because you own the property. Well, the property is actually owned by this LLC, right? Separate from your personal assets. So that's the separation. That's the protection you get from having the LLC, because they can only go after the LLC and that property, and not after what you own and all your your bank accounts, personal wages. So it's a tool, a very valuable tool that we feel is underutilized.
You just want to kind of keep it not clear. If someone's trying to find your paper trail of what all the things you own, even though you have an LLC and there's a corporate veil, okay, well, that's true. But I've also read about cases where if people collude funds and commingle monies, creative lawyers, depending on the case, can sometimes pierce through that corporate veil and get to your personal stuff. So none of this stuff is perfect, right? That's the thing. Like there are loopholes, like everything in life. But this, if you get an LLC, that protects you like a large majority more than you would be if you weren't protected at all. But there's still risk in this stuff. So my point is, if you keep your assets like buried, is what it's called, asset layering, asset protection, burying your assets. These are all terms as you begin to build wealth, you start to learn about. They aren't tools to avoid
paying
taxes. These are tools to protect your wealth, what you've built. I have built, after thousands and tens of thousands of hours of work at midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., weekends, holidays, like that's hard work that I've put in. And that sweat equity turned into money, and that money created investments. And that is my livelihood, and it's something I'm very, very grateful for and very protective of.
Yeah. I mean, you've worked your entire life to get to where you are.
Yeah.
And then to have somebody, slip on a banana peel
Right.
at a property and then take it all from you.
Take it all.
Like it's a really silly example, but it's completely plausible.
Yeah.
It just depends on, who you get. Like, there's so many variables involved that, it's just a matter of protecting your assets, keeping yourself whole. So in case there is an issue that you are, you and your family have ways of maintaining your protection for your assets and your livelihood. Because for some people this becomes their livelihood.
Yeah, it's going to be mine.
Yeah,
it is mine.
It's going to be mine.
Yeah, it already creates passive income. So, and it's just going to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And the wiser you get, the more the more roots you grow in this business, the more you learn and the more you want to apply. Mm-hmm. And the more you realize, Ian, that even though we're normal people, it's still like, just because we don't have $50 million, like it doesn't matter. I'm still going to protect my assets.
Yeah, of course.
Even if you have 400,000. Because that's more money than I ever had in my life, right? I never even had $1,000 in my savings account. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I was always owing money.
I didn't have a savings account until I was, in my late teens, maybe early 20s.
Yeah, like I think anyway. So, but once you have 20,000, 50,000, like those are big monies. It is hard to save money.
It's extremely hard.
Especially in this economy when basically by the time you make $100,000,
20%.
You're barely breaking even. It seems.
Depends on what city you live.
I mean,
$100,000. I mean, if you're living in some rural town, hey, you're living like
you're probably okay.
You're living okay, but if any major city,
no way,
you're not surviving.
I mean, the $100,000 now is the old $50,000. Mm-hmm. I mean, $100,000 used to be rich back in the day. 6-figure income.
Yeah, when you say you have a 6-figure income, I had a friend of mine. This is a funny story, I'd say. Like, I had a friend of mine. He's very successful, and I hadn't become as successful as I wanted to be until recently, until I got into real estate. Yeah. And first time I made 6 figures in 1 year, I said, it's like, I told him, hey man, this is amazing. That's the first time in my life I made a 6-figure income for 1 year, for a year. And he's like, 6?
Yeah.
Like, but is the first digit a 1? Yeah,
he wasn't even impressed.
He's like, oh, that's pretty good. Like, oh man, like you don't know this milestone. I love it. You don't know this milestone in my life, and getting to that point, and it's the first thing I was thinking, like, how do I invest it? How do I protect it? How do I make it work for me? Yeah. What's up, little man? Oh,
I mean, $100,000 is still a lot of money.
Still a lot of money. Like, I'm still thinking that's
used to be
huge, right? And I'm super proud of it.
I'm proud of you.
Proud of that fact.
Yeah.
And if anybody says anything about that, you can come find me.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But no, and like it's just funny how you can think of any amount to any person. Mm-hmm. No amount is small. No. Money, like, I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent. I'll come back to reality and say
it's a good tangent.
Yeah, I know. It's but so asset protection is what you would consider one of the most important things in real estate investing.
Yeah, I would say as you grow in real estate investing, because for 101 investors, which are what I call people that They're brand new,
Uh-huh.
brand new stuff. The key to getting ahead is getting started for them.
The time value of money.
Yeah, that's all that matters for them.
Mhm.
This asset layering, that conversation
Second,
is not really
third
for them.
level.
Yeah, that we discuss as you grow the portfolio.
As you get more familiar with owning an asset,
Yeah,
and maybe multiple, that's when you start thinking about how can I protect. Okay.
This is the 3D,
Yeah.
you know, and when you're on 101, all we're paying attention to is the 2D.
Mhm.
This is a new dimension. This is another layer, you know. But
Well, we're just we're dropping.
Because we don't know who we're talking to out there. We're gonna
Yeah.
have a spectrum
Yeah.
of people. We're gonna have people that are like have 10 rentals or 50 rentals, and maybe they have it, and maybe they want to grow, and maybe we're helping them learn something they don't know. And then we have people that they just read their first rental property investing book and they're 18, and that's probably not where you're at right now. Not always. Again, it's very personal. I want to be clear on that because maybe we do talk to an 18-year-old, and after we qualify them,
maybe they have
we
the
learn
ability. Maybe they have the
or maybe they're just that kind of personality where they're like, look, I want to build this huge thing before, like I want to.
I'm doing 425 or 430.
Yeah, but we just find a lot of people it's so many pieces and decisions, it's so overwhelming. We just are like, it's our job as a leader to help delineate and remove those barriers and decisions so we can keep focused on the main.
Yeah.
Just like what Tony did with our videos and how we have 50 posted videos today. How can we record content? I've been recording content. I put camera in your face, Ian, for since you started here. And none of that made it. And now in 90 days, we have 50 videos, right? It's because the partner we work with helped us get focused and get us
started.
Yeah.
You know, get us focused. But the guy's brilliant, right?
Yeah.
Tony's he's a brilliant guy, and
he is.
You know, you got to find the person, the expert for that field, for their field, right? So, obviously I'm not going to go and become a professional blogger. Yeah. But, I'm a professional real estate agent.
That's right.
I'm a professional property investor.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's, you got to find the right people, and to make what your goal is a reality. It's not just like what you can do and what you can read. It is about who you can find. We always talk about the team. Yeah. Right. So we're just one part of that. Right. And then Tony's the other part of that to make this successful.
That's right. It's a good marriage.
Yeah. And so how I relate that to this is like, we always talk about the team that you need in place in your market, right? So we have the realtor, the lender, right? Your lawyer, your accountant, maybe your real estate attorney. Whoever you need to be, whoever needs to be your expert, you got to find it. And so what we're trying to do is help you look into a different avenue of how to find your professionals, right? So who you need to hire, how you need to hire, and just kind of layer in some of the pieces that like you might not know about. Again, she said like this is there's a broad spectrum of people on here. So what we're trying to do is appeal to the new investor, right? This is the whole point of our rental property university is that the people that aren't familiar with the process is just to start. Yeah, we just want you to start, and if you already are doing it, we want you to grow. Yeah, and we want you to use all these tools. And so, to wrap up, how to protect your rental property assets, talk about LLC, asset laying protection, estate planning. You do living trust, but also within the LLC, there's a really cool tool called the Series LLC. Mm-hmm. And I did a Series LLC. I think you just did. I just did a regular LLC, and they're not right or wrong, good or bad. It's just this is a business decision you'll have to make. And I did the Series because at the time I had 7 or 8 rentals, and the idea is like once you have so many properties in one LLC, you're supposed to start a second LLC, and I didn't want to keep doing that because I thought I was going to keep buying all these properties. Like at that point, I was buying one property a year. And so I thought, okay, I'll just have 20 or 30 or 50 properties. And even though I kind of knew I would only get to 10, that's another video. But nonetheless, my point is I just wanted to prepare just in case. So, but with a Series LLC,
it's like let's call it Ian and let's call it Ian LLC, um, Ian Series LLC. So it'd be Series A, Series B, Series C, Series C, D, E, F,
All
and
of
then
that.
each series has its own property under the little mini umbrella under the big umbrella of Ian LLC. And what that does, you only have to file one tax return for this Series LLC. So you can have 30 properties, let's say, one tax return, which is really valuable. But if, say, Series A has 112 Main Street and 112 Main Street is completely paid off, but then Series B has 222 Main Street, and 222 Main Street has debt on the loan, and let's say your equity in that one's only $20,000.
Okay.
Okay, if Series B tenant sues your LLC, Ian LLC, Ian Series LLC,
Mine.
yeah, Ian
They can-
Series LLC, they can't sue Series A 112 Main Street. It's free and clear.
I can only do.
They can only sue
222.
222 Main Street.
Mhm.
Okay, and if you don't have any equity in that, you know. And another cool tool is once you do have equity, say you have a regular LLC, or say even at 111 Main Street, you don't, there's still a risk that that tenant sues you, and you have a bunch of equity because the property's free and clear. Let's say that property is worth $500,000 and you don't have a loan. Well, what you do is you load up debt again, like your LLC loans you money essentially as a lender now, and then you're layering up the equity against debt that essentially your company owns. It's interesting. It's a great tool, but that helps protect you from other lawsuits against your full equity. But if you have a regular LLC, if Ian has Ian regular LLC,
And all my properties are under just Ian LLC.
right? And let's say the whole portfolio, let's say he's got 10 properties under that one LLC, which again, different lawyers
And it's just
suggest.
222. They can go after
The
111,
whole
222,
333,
333, 444, and so on.
And his whole portfolio, let's say it's worth $10 million, they could go after, depending on the damages,
Yeah.
right? And again, there's insurances you can put in place like umbrella policies and general liability policies and things like that. But I'm just telling you, it's a complicated space and people are vindictive, and we just dealt with a lot. We didn't deal with it. Praise God. But we're part of this lawsuit with the National Association of Realtors. We're not part of it, but we are realtors.
We're realtors.
And
so, I mean, it's going to be associated with our profession.
We will be affected, and we
Yeah.
already are affected, and we will be. But my point is that was like $500 million lawsuit using the Sherman Antitrust Act, which is a 50-year-old law. Who saw that coming?
Yeah, I think it was a money grab for
It totally
lawyers.
a money grab, and they got away with it though because it was legal, but it was a precedent for 5 decades. It doesn't make any sense, but a lot of things don't make sense. Welcome to the world.
2024.
Welcome to the world. Like
Yeah.
it'll be like that forever. It always has been like that forever.
Confusing.
I mean,
strange.
lawyers are going to find ways to get money. Some lawyers are great. We have lawyers,
Yeah.
but at the same time, there's a lot of unscrupulous ones. So,
Yeah.
all right, Ian, I think that wraps us up for how to protect your rental property assets.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, just to recap on that, just
Mhm.
if you haven't set up an LLC, and it may be time for you, consult an attorney.
That's right.
And that's familiar with real estate. Some people they can do it, but try to get somebody that knows the space.
Yeah, and the point is, if this is going to be your business, make it a business.
Make it a
That's
business.
the thing. Like, the
Don't
thing
half-ass it.
just make it like this is a business. Treat it as a business,
Mhm.
and be serious about it, and talk to the right people that speak that vernacular. Because your friends at the dinner party table
I bought one property
aren't
10 years ago.
or like don't even have any money at all. They won't speak this language.
No.
They're going to think a totally different way than how business owners think. So you have to really protect yourself on who you take advice from. That's a big lesson I learned. And
Advice is always welcome, but what you do with it and how you
gotta
vet that advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so all this stuff, as scary as it might sound and overwhelming, don't let it be. Just hire an attorney. And what does that mean? we work with a tax attorney and a business attorney all under one umbrella. It's Nielsen Law Group out of Arizona. And basically, to set up an LLC with them, it's like $1,500. If you wanted to do it on LegalZoom, we don't suggest that on your first LLC because you don't know what you don't know.
Mhm.
But if you have to do it that way, it'd probably be about $500 is that's what it would cost me if I were to set it up, because I would know they ask you like 20 questions. I'm trying to upsell you all kinds of things that you really don't need, in my opinion. But
Mhm.
so by the time you I mean, it might still be $1,000 for you. So anyway, and then to file the tax return, the business tax return every year, it's like $600. And that's it. So a couple grand gets you all into your first LLC, series LLC. You know,
And
maybe
the
it's a little
protection is
more.
what the value is, right?
Yeah,
All
Yeah.
this stuff is kind of ethereal until you get hit with a lawsuit.
exactly.
But
Yeah.
like, do you want to be the person that's like, well, I should have done it sooner, or the person's like, thank goodness I did it sooner.
Right. And the other part of LLC, the other really, really, really big part is the tax strategy piece because
Because you're
You need
taxed
it.
differently.
you need an active, properly structured business. Properly structured business means LLC, not your personal return, writing things off in your Schedule C. So there's like an incredible vast array. I mean, we could spend hours on this. We have spent hours on this talking about this. It's like unbelievably deep
Yeah.
as where we could go. We just wanted to cover it today. So
we did.
we did.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we hope it helps. Okay, what's our next topic?
So the next topic is going to be must know laws for every first time landlord.
Yeah.
Managing property that isn't just about collecting rent, it's about protecting your tenant and your property by knowing and following the law. Knowing and following the law. I'd say that is that's a gray area with a lot of landlords in Texas. Because there's a lot of things that are up to interpretation.
Yeah.
But hiring a property manager can save you from the world of legal trouble. I've seen too many first-time landlords think, how hard could it be? Right?
They're like, why don't I just manage it? How hard could it be?
But like any relationship, managing property takes work, legal knowledge, and patience. Because tenants will frustrate you quickly, easily, many times.
Yeah.
But it's but like the benefit outweighh most of the time the benefit outweighs the con.
So and we have an interesting panel between Ian and I because we've been our relationship to property management has been there's 3 different examples that I can think of right now. So for me, I ran a property management company.
You started.
Sarah started.
Sarah started it.
I took it over.
So you took over a property, grew it, and then sold it. Because property management
sucked.
Awful.
Hated it personally. For my
I'm
personality, I hated it.
I'm agreeing that because like being my own property manager for the properties that we have.
Okay.
I had to go to a property last week.
Okay. So when did you get the call? Tell us the whole thing.
Okay, so
wait. Actually, so I managed it.
Yeah.
I built it. I ran it. I managed other properties. I managed my own. Sold it, and then I got out of it. And now I only have people manage my property since 2014.
First example.
And I hate it. Okay, Ian's journey.
So my example is my mother-in-law. She owns multiple properties. We own multiple properties now. I would have to. Okay, so. I mean, let's just go with some of the stories.
You've never managed.
You've never
hired a property manager.
I've never hired a property manager. I've always been a property manager. So that's like maintenance.
And before you became a realtor?
Before I became a realtor, yeah.
Ish.
Well, my parents owned one rental in Austin, right?
Okay.
The house I grew up in, or the house I was born in.
Okay.
When I was 3 years old, we moved to another house. They turned that house into a rental property.
Okay.
That is like the horror story of all horror stories.
Wow.
So over my dad wasn't like he wasn't like, I'm going to go and visit the property ever. He never visited the property. He would just collect a check.
Okay.
So one year, my dad was like, well, let's just sell it. We don't, I think I can make some good money off of it. We go to the house. It's summer vacation. I'm with my dad, and we go to the house, and it's empty, but it's full of garbage, holes in the wall. The kitchen sink no longer was draining into a sewer system. They had, I guess, it clogged, and they had taken a garden hose or some type of hose, attached it to the bottom of the kitchen sink, poked a hole out the back wall, and the water was just draining right onto the ground from the kitchen sink. Let's see, there was multiple I guess, rusted pieces of just like scrap metal in the back under the house that was not under the house before. We like me and my dad had to completely gut the inside.
I can see you like getting stressed.
It was. I mean, okay, when you're 14 years old, right, and you're at this house that you're just like, wait, is this a house or is this like like just a homeless den? I mean, I'm talking like there was holes in the wall. There was like just you can see that there was evidence of all types of infestations, being roach or rat. But to say that, it's like it's like there is a possibility. It's like if you don't watch your property, like you could have a horror story. And so like my dad is like, we spent that I spent that summer fixing that house, in 100-degree weather. I even put a roof on a house in that, and I was like, never again.
Yeah.
I never want to do that, even though I had to do it again. Thanks, Dad. Love you. But no, it's you get to a point where it's just like, that is a horror story, and that stuck in my brain, right? So like every time that I have a house that I need to go check on, like even if I don't think I need to check on it, I'm like, you gotta check on it. Yeah. You gotta see if are they tearing up the house? Then that goes back to my other story. So that was the horror story from just my dad not doing anything.
Okay.
That is not the way to property manage. And then you go into my mother-in-law,
okay.
Right? So I'm her maintenance. I'm kind of like the go check out the problem and see what you think. If I can fix it, right, and then she'll compensate me,
okay,
right. And so I'm like her GC.
You're maintenance guy.
I'm maintenance guy, unless I need somebody that's like a professional plumber, professional electrician.
Okay.
If it's something that I can do that's easy to be fixed, I will do it. But if it's something that needs a licensed or a professional person, I'm going to call somebody. Okay. I'm not going to do that, right?
Yeah, and you don't.
Okay, like if another one, I had to go to a same house, same family, different house. Sorry, this was in Dallas. This is now modern day. My mother owns a few houses in Garland. I had to go to this house multiple times. First time, what is it? Diapers in the toilet.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Flushed. Second time, the ceiling fan. Pull the cord. It works. Fan's not working. Flick the light. All right, the light works, but the fan doesn't turn on. Pull the cord. It's like I don't know how the cord got pulled because it's all the way up there. It's like there, the fan works. Click. Other time I went there, the fan somehow fell out of the ceiling.
Oh no.
But I mean, it was fastened to the ceiling very well with a metal conduit. So apparently a child maybe pulled on it, and with the cord streaming through, cutting through the sheetrock, just hanging there dangling.
Oh boy.
So I had to, sheetrock repair. I didn't even put a fan in there. They get a light, right? I don't want anybody hanging on it. Another time, this was just recently, a light bulb in the bathroom, because it's in what do they call it? It's a can light, right? All you gotta do is pop out that cover piece, and then you change the light bulb. So I changed 2 light bulbs. That was because I was like, it's just a light bulb. It's just a light bulb.
Just the light bulb.
So property management. If I have to drive 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, change a light bulb, to turn a fan on.
Yeah.
That can kind of like, it gives me these little stories I'm telling you about.
Yeah.
It's it's funny to tell.
Yeah.
But
it's
not
funny
frustrating in the moment. No, it's like I go there, it's like, hey, the fan's not working. Okay. So I'm like, I'm getting ready, got all my tools. I'm thinking I'm going to be replacing a fan. No, I'm not replacing a fan. I'm replacing sheetrock. I'm replacing electrical box. The wiring in the top says, this is now it's got old wires.
You just never
I can keep talking
know
about it.
what it's going to be is the thing.
So those are the 3 ways, right?
I know. Okay,
Your
so
property management.
so I was the property manager.
But you went property manager full, and you
Yeah.
have gone property manager
And then
full. All the way
I
with all your
hired it out to someone that liked doing it and is good at
liked
it.
doing it. That's
Yeah.
the key
That's
word.
the key. Like there are personalities that like it, you know, just like general contracting. You know, I hate it.
That was the only thing I did.
Yeah. Well, sure. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, and even so, like
when you have a job,
you have a full-time
job, so you have a family.
Yeah, you have a
full-time family.
Full-time family.
Like,
you have
kind
school and soccer
or
and dinner.
Kids football,
And
they got baseball,
and then like where they're having a meltdown, or they're
are you gonna like, hey, our AC went out, and you're dealing with like 3 kids, different schedule for soccer, football, basketball,
right?
Are you gonna go and fix this AC at Saturday at 2:00 in the afternoon?
Yeah.
Probably, do you want to spend time with your family?
Yeah, and some people may be like, oh hell, I want to get away from my family. Well, that's a whole other.
So it depends on how you want to do it, but property management, we always recommend every time.
Yeah, we just say
property management,
especially in the beginning. See, a lot of people have the other way. They're like, well, I'll do it, and then if it sucks, then I'll hire someone. And they're like, okay, so you want that property manager to come in and clean up what you messed up. That's one way. Then there's the other way to be like, well, why don't you learn how someone does it that does it,
accumulate,
and then
knowledge.
Take it over. Like go the other way. Yeah, because you don't learn how to set up systems and processes and communication.
That's a great way of doing it,
right? And I feel like in a way, like, and then you don't learn how to qualify tenants and screen tenants, and how does that conversation go? And I just feel like so many people go this like mom and pop kind of approach. We call it really the Fox mindset in our book. What type of rental property investor am I? It's more that DIY. There's certain things you should DIY. Absolutely. Like every time I buy a IKEA furniture, I'll take 2 hours and put that thing together. But there's certain things I will not DEI, and maybe that comes with just growing up. Yeah,
experience.
Yeah, experience.
Knowing what your strengths and your weaknesses are.
Yeah.
As far as dealing with property management, I think that was not one of your strengths.
No.
Even though you were super capable and you did it, you grew it.
I did it. I grew it. It really was stress. I woke up every day not knowing what was going to be on the other side of that phone. And it was always 110 degrees when the AC needs to get fixed.
When you're property management, when you're a property manager, you're
always on.
Phone call is never a good phone call.
Never. They're never calling to tell you.
Yeah, hey, you did a great job with this property. No, I'm really enjoying it. It's
either the rent, not at all. It's either we're getting a divorce. It's either there's bed bugs, or it's like. I want someone to sublease. Oh, you can't sublease. That's the violation of your lease. It's COVID, and you can't do anything to me, and I'm not going to pay you rent.
And that kind of goes into what you talked about, it's a very emotional for most renters, right?
Very, very much. Yeah.
The families there, their holidays, their kids, their major life events. People get really, like it's personal, even if it's a rented property that they're in.
Yeah.
They're very emotional.
I mean, the number one thing they pay the most of is usually rent or mortgage. After income tax. See, people miss that one, but because they don't see income tax as an expense, but it is. But let's put that aside for a minute. And rent or mortgage is typically the most expensive thing anybody pays usually, or it's definitely the top 5, right?
So I mean, the most expensive thing you usually buy in your life is a house.
It's a house by far, and so that's the most money that's going out the door for them. So there's a level of like, just there's psychology around that. There's sometimes stress around that.
Of course, it's like what can ruin your life in a recession, right?
Right,
it's losing your house.
It's losing your house. So, and then, like you said, there's holidays. They do holidays there. They raise their kids there. Is the air quality good? Oh gosh, did I see mold?
Yeah.
Am I fearful that we have a bug infestation and now this is your problem, landlord? Even though the lease says it's not your problem, landlord, but I think it is. So I'm going to really push on. Like, everything is not black and white just because in a contract. So, and then now you, as a 101 investor, are going to take on that incredible responsibility in a world that you just. The bottom line is you don't know what you don't know. And so what our job is to help you mitigate your risk. We're not property manager PSA here. We don't have a dog in the fight. If you want to have one, have one. If you don't, whatever. But the bottom line is, like, we just part of our job is
Make your life easier.
we see what you don't see, and property managers see what you don't see. And so when you hire one, do you have to know the law? Not really, because their job is to know the law. Most of them have to have a license, a real estate license. Most states require property managers to have license.
And it's about gaining experience,
Yeah,
even if that experience is you understanding how a property manager works with your property.
that's right.
Because
So we feel pretty strongly on that, don't we?
oh yeah.
Yeah, and if you don't have, and remember, just rental property investing is always active, and that's why you need a team to help you manage this investment. Okay, so we just are big fans of that. And but if you're bold and you don't want to hire a property manager,
You can do it yourself.
do it yourself.
Do it yourself.
Okay.
And test it out. If you just don't come crying to me when you run into a problem.
And here's the thing, like, we do hear about a lot of problems because that's why we get phone calls, to be honest.
Yeah, but you're not going to hear the good things.
Yeah.
Again, you're only going to hear the bad things.
Some people do it and they do it well and it's good and it's fine. We're not trying to say like nobody's successful if they don't hire a property manager. We're not saying that. We're just saying for most people that's the right path, the bell curve. The 80% probably need to hire a property manager and just call it a day. But if you don't want to hire one initially, your first job is to read the property code. In Texas, it's called the Texas Property Code. You can just Google that, and it'll bring it up. It's sub chapter 92, I believe, is the numbers you're going to see. And it's a whole long document. I have read this thing several times.
Become familiar.
You need to read it. That's a legal document with the law. That's what you need to read, because that is what your property manager knows. That is going to tell you the laws. And you're going to read things like each property is required to have 2 locking mechanisms on every exterior door, which is your front, your back, and your door to the garage.
And those 2 locking mechanisms, one is a deadbolt that is able to be opened from the outside, and then one is above that or below it, whatever the case may be, but it's only able to be opened from the inside without a key. It's got to be a keyless deadbolt from the inside.
Correct. And then you're also going to need peepholes in the doors.
Peepholes, and that's front door, back door, garage door even.
Even that one. You're gonna need smoke detectors in every bedroom, in each hallway outside of the bedrooms. Not the kitchen, because it's always gonna go off. But and most modern construction is gonna have that, but older homes won't. And that's in Texas. Each state is different. Okay?
Yeah. So this is, again, we're telling you about Texas.
We're talking about Texas.
So if you're watching this from any other state, make sure you just look up Texas property code.
Yeah.
Property code for your state.
Start with that and go from there. It might be called something else. But there's going to be some variation of that in the code in each state, because the whole point of this thing is that there's tenants. Tenants have rights too. What are those rights? And you as a landlord need to know those. What's the landlord rights and what are the tenant rights? And that is very important, because the whole argument when you go to court over a lawsuit, you can't use the argument, I didn't know. You see, that will not work. That will not work. You will be wrong. You have to know. If you don't know, you need to hire the right people to know, because you're taking on a business. And you're offering someone's homestead to them. There's a responsibility in that. There's a huge responsibility in that. And you need to know what's required of you and what's required of them. And because there's so many layers and elements.
There's going to be, you can read it once or twice and you're still not going to retain everything.
No.
But, if you're getting into the space of being a rental property investor and owner, it's really important, along with the LLC, it's just a matter of minimizing your liabilities.
Yes, that's all this, the main part of this game, because minimizing your liability maximizes your return.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And everybody likes the return. That's the whole point of this.
The whole point of this is to make
money. We want you to make money.
Money to build financial wealth. With just 4 to 5 rental properties, you can be a millionaire.
Yeah.
Within a generation, a couple decades.
I'm not asking you to subscribe, right, and hit the like, but you can do it.
Well, we would
love you to do that. But what we're here to do is help you.
Yeah.
Help yourselves.
Yeah.
Right.
Just tell the truth.
Because I'm not buying you a property. You're not buying me a property. But hey, we can work together on how we can find you property.
if you're able and willing. And this is just Tales from the Oregon Trail, right? This is just the truth, yo.
So
So then also repairs are very important. Each state is going to have some details on what's required to be repaired.
Required for you to repair? Yeah.
Yeah, and when you have to do it.
It's like, I need hey, the fridge that I had in the house crapped out. What do I do?
Right. Whose responsibility
is that? Or if the washing machine goes out. Or
and if the fridge does crap out and all the food goes bad, whose responsibility
is that?
I don't know. I mean, each lease should tell you what to do with that, but if you don't even know how to write that in.
Or if you don't even know what a lease, if you didn't read the lease for your own tenants.
Boom. That's another document you definitely need to read, is the lease. And but yeah, if you in Texas, you have to the landlord has to attempt to make repairs within 7 days. But it doesn't mean make the repair within 7 days. If it's a big repair, it's an attempt. Well, what's an attempt? I don't know. That's ambiguous.
Is that calling?
Is
repairman? Hey, I talked to my friend Jeff.
Yeah.
Who's a HVAC repair guy. He said, yeah, I could probably fix it, but that's it.
Yeah.
He just said he could fix it.
That could be.
I didn't say he was going to fix it.
That's right. And then if you have an AC that does go out in the middle of August, and that'd be horrible. And that is a stressful situation. It happens a lot.
I had to pay extra for my tenant to get AC as fast as possible because 100 degrees. They have a newborn. They had a newborn at the time.
See, that's the risk when you have a newborn. That could kill that little baby
if it's
or give it heat damage. I mean, that's a real thing.
So immediately, you got to.
And because of that variable, it changes.
On a Saturday, I was oh shoot, where was I? I think I was Saturday. I think it might have been doing something. I wasn't at the house. I wasn't even near anything.
Were you in Italy?
No, it wasn't. I wasn't in Italy.
Could happen.
I wasn't out of the country. But I was I was doing something. And I was like, oh great, AC went out.
Why, Ayana? That's what you said.
And you got like, hey, does this need to happen now? It's like, well, there's a newborn.
Yeah.
So yeah, it needs to happen now. Well, that's gonna be another son. It's like whatever it costs. And it sucked. I had to pay that, but. I want my tenants to be happy, and I don't want to get sued.
You got to make a business decision,
But it's also not just a business decision, but it's like a decision on what to do. It's right,
ethical
decision. Some people
decision.
They don't. I'm not going to say bad about anybody else, but I'm going to make sure that I do what's right, ethically, morally, and just.
And because what's ethical and what's moral is a vague ambiguity,
and it's not always
the law helps
legal.
You discern what that means, right? And that's because people have what their idea of ethics and morals are. That's right. So the law helps you discern
something could be legal,
what that is. Yeah,
but it might not be as moral. But that goes to code of ethics for us.
You get to make a personal decision because you get free. We have freedom in America. You have free choice to decide.
You can be a dick, or you can be.
But here's the thing: you had the money too. What if you didn't have the money, right?
Oh.
Like that's the thing. Like if you were really down. I mean, if you just let's say you have 5 properties and you just rehab some, all 5 of them, and the IC goes out and your quote is that's $12,000, but you can get it for 8, but it takes 2 more days. What do? Maybe you do the 8. Because that's $4,000, and maybe you're putting them up in a hotel for $400 for 2 days.
There you go.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's ways that you can fix this, right? There's ways to
so
mitigate.
Many different ways.
You just say, look, I'm sorry, but I can't spend $4,000 to get this done 2 days sooner. I'm sorry, but I will do
Put
this
you up and,
because of my ethics and morals, but I don't have to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because you might not, you just for whatever reason, maybe you can't physically do that, or there's no one way. There's a lot of ways. It's complicated.
That's the thing. It's so many ways.
It is complicated because dealing with people.
Mm-hmm.
And I have put tenants in hotels. Did I have to? No. Why did I do it? Was it ethical? Was it yeah, there's probably a little bit of that. Was it also that they were long-term good tenants? Yeah, there's probably a little bit of that. Was it because because people do crazy things when they're mad and hot?
Yeah,
that's probably more of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because people do crazy things. And I've seen it. I've been a part. I don't want that in my life.
I've done crazy things when
I'm telling you. So anyway, there's a lot of variables like that. But if you don't hire a property manager, which it's your choice, but just you have to be the property manager, which means you can't just think that means do nothing. You have to prepare to be the property manager. I mean, truthfully. So, I have this one of our viewers, actually, Ian. I don't know if she's on right now, but she's a wonderful supporter of ours. Thank you so much, Deb. Big thanks. But
We got 0.
we have
right
0.
now.
Okay. Well,
And we're at 59 minutes. So
okay.
We're almost,
Yeah,
almost
we're
there.
almost there. So, but her name's Deb. She's in Colorado, and she bought her first rental. Well, she already bought one property, and then she's turning that one property into rental, and then she bought her second one.
Nice, Deb.
Go, Deb. Woo!
Good job.
Yeah. And
Proud of you.
so she's a move up investor. Ian.
Nice.
Okay. And then she hired a property manager to lease out her property number one.
Mm-hmm.
And what she learned, and she had to speak to a lawyer, and this whole thing got weird, but unfortunately, but whatever, she's working through it, and she has the right attitude that this is a big picture and it's going to be okay.
Okay.
But
That's good.
what she learned in Colorado was that the state of Colorado, that during COVID, the legislation, they basically said if somebody has Section 8, which means they have housing vouchers, and you have your property listed with a property manager / leasing agent, if they apply, you have to take them. Okay? The only way out of that is you don't hire a property manager or leasing agent, and you now have to list your property personally as a sole investor that has less than 5 properties, and then you get to decide if you want to take that tenant or not. Isn't that wild? I think that's horrible, and
terrible.
And
that just, again, that just,
what if
another restriction?
What if they had 5 evictions and a 400 credit? I mean, why couldn't I get the choice to not take that tenant because they don't meet my tenant criteria? This is just, I want 650 more credit, and I don't want evictions, and I don't want a criminal history. What if they have all 3 and now have to take this tenant because of this law?
You don't live in Colorado.
Boom. It's unfortunate, and that's why you have landlord-friendly states and tenant-friendly states. Colorado's clearly a tenant-friendly state.
Yeah.
And that law went into effect in COVID, Ian, and it never went away, and that's really unfortunate.
Well, it's a again, get out and vote.
Yeah, get out and vote. Read the code. Learn the laws.
Learn your laws. Learn your
the
codes.
State, and be prepared for that. Sometimes that's okay for people, but what I have learned is once you become a business owner, the whole point of being a business owner is that you want to have the freedom and the right to build your business in the way you want to build it, because you're taking all the risk. You're putting up all the financial responsibility. You've made sacrifices in your life, most likely to get there, that your peers didn't. Therefore, there's opportunity for you that others don't have because you put more work. That's how it works.
That's how it works.
I mean, bottom line. And when you kind of take away and chip away at those rights, it dissuades people from taking risks and growing businesses.
But you never know you never know what the outcome of these laws are going to be in the long term.
Yeah.
So it's.
Well, in this situation, this tenant, basically she had Section 8 and she knew this law. So she kind of started stalking Deb, because she wanted Deb's house and Deb didn't want to lease it to her. And then when Deb she hired a property manager to kind of get away from this tenant that was trying to force her to take her application.
Oh my gosh.
And she hired the property manager. And then that's when she learned. Then the property manager got, she applied there because she watched the property. And then the property manager was like, well, we have to take her. And that's how Deb learned about this law.
Did she cancel
She did. She had to get out of that contract, which I don't know if there's a financial responsibility there, because when you sign an agreement with the property manager, if you pull out before the term, sometimes you owe them money, understandably, because they put the work in.
Yeah.
But and she had to speak to an attorney, and then she did get out of that contract. And then now she has it listed on her own again, so she doesn't have to take this tenant that she doesn't want in her house because it scares her. Yeah. This lady stalked her. Right?
That's terrible.
Terrible. That's a log
awful.
That's a log on wrong.
If you know who you are, lady,
shame on you.
Shame on you.
People should be able to do what they want when they're the owner. Does that make sense?
Owner, yeah.
Not the tenant doesn't get rights on a property they have no connection authority to.
Yeah,
that lady's using the law in an ill way. Do you know what I'm saying?
What is it? A malicious
way.
No, malicious manner.
And some people know how to work the law, and they do.
And that's the thing. That's what we're trying to do, is help you protect yourself.
Right.
But it just goes into so many different facets of owning rental properties.
Yeah.
You just got to be familiar with it, gain experience. we'll tell you as much as we know, and like these anecdotal stories will, they will stick in your brain.
Yeah.
That's gonna stick in my brain. I don't even know.
Yeah,
like
and
Colorado, why?
I
guys?
agree. I was
Change it.
I started going on the rabbit hole learning about this law once Deb told, and I was just like, I was
I just can't
flabbergasted.
believe that.
And we come from Texas, so we come from a state where we
Very
don't we like
landlord-centric.
limited government in our world. We don't want that because we want freedom. We want freedom to make choices. There are laws, and there should be laws, because without any laws, Ian, you have anarchy. But we don't want that.
No.
And do we believe that housing vouchers have an appropriate place?
Yes.
1,000%. We both agree that.
But forced use. I mean, like
Right.
that just seems to be there. Man, it's such a what's the polarizing topic? Because I think some people are just like, people need the help.
That's the articles I read.
The other side is like, but like you said, you took all the risk.
Yeah.
You did the sacrifices in life to get to where you are, and then just to have,
they could come trash my property. They could hold. I mean, if they have
they
felonies,
can do exactly what they did to my dad's house.
Exactly, and then what? Are you going to help me, government, pay?
They didn't.
that?
We didn't get anything from that person that destroyed our house.
Exactly.
My dad had all the money that he had made over the years
Gone.
Profit? What profit?
Gone.
We spent. I would say probably back. This was in 14, 15, 20. Oh no, so 1997, 96. That was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like doing all that rehab, and obviously we saved some money on labor because I was child labor at the time.
But it's not right.
It's just not right.
And it disincentivizes people from. So anyway, we're telling this crazy shark bite story but it fired me up, Ian.
It got me fired up.
It made me realize how it just. But here's the thing: in a year, Deb won't even remember this.
Mm-hmm.
Once she leases out the property,
it's good to know.
Yes, she will move on, and this will not
But this is going to be a part of her.
But she will learn
toolbox.
Now she has another tool, and it'll be fine. It'll work out, and let me just tell you, it will. But that's just a story I wanted to share. And
thank you for sharing that story.
You're welcome, Ian. Thanks for listening.
Oh.
And to wrap up, we're going to say, okay, the last topic we have is, should you hold cash or property during a recession?
Oh.
This is an easy answer because it depends.
It depends. Thank you for coming.
Bye.
No.
It really does depend, though. There's no way to answer this question.
Depends on your situation.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Your situation.
Yeah.
Because again, everything's a fingerprint.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. Your financial situation is going to be different from somebody else. Somebody might have more money. Somebody might have less money. Somebody might have a different credit score. Somebody might have a program they can use. There's so many different ways to go about it. But what we would say is the best way to get ahead is to get started.
Yeah.
So figure that out. Figure out how you can get started, because waiting is just going to prolong the inevitable. And if the inevitable is not getting a property, then why are you watching?
Yeah.
We're here to help.
Yeah, and if you're able and willing, then go for it. And in a flat market, which is what we're in, and we've been in since about May of 2023. Actually, I have to say, in some areas have declined. How do I know that? Because huge price cuts have happened. Property taxes have gone down. Mm-hmm. So that's two good indicators that some areas are declining. But then that means prices are negotiable. And if prices are negotiable, maybe you won't, quote unquote, overpay, because you negotiate with the seller if they can't sell the asset and if they need to. And they can pay for closing costs, realtor fees. So it's all relative, right?
There's a lot of negotiations and where the money can go in a transaction.
Whereas when we're in an increasing market, expansionary market, you're overpaying.
If it's a seller's market, that's kind of what we're.
Yeah, because saying. There's multiple bids, which pushes the prices up. And a lot of times investors just can't compete because the numbers don't work.
It keeps going on, but it keeps going. That's the problem. Is if you're in an expansionary market, the price is just going to keep going up and up and up.
Yeah.
So what we would recommend to people that are on the fence about investing now, because of maybe rates, I would say don't wait.
Yeah.
If you are able to do it, and do it now, because
Yeah.
once rates drop, it's going to be a free for all.
Yeah.
You're going to be competing again. There's going to be a price increase. All those things that happen in an expansionary market. But once there's blood in the water, sharks are going to.
It's all relative, and to help prove this point, we have data from our real estate. There's something called Real Estate Center at Texas A&M University, and Texas A&M University has this great resource center led by Mark Dozier, the main economist there, who was there for several years. He's not there anymore, but nonetheless, I think that they track the data, Ian, of all of the Texas real estate, resale real estate. I feel like it was all the way back to the late 90s, but it could have been the early millennium. But my point in saying that is to help illustrate our point that if it makes sense for you and if you're able and willing, it's always the right time, even in a flat or declining market, because we could look on that data for you, and we could show you, if you want to see what people were buying in 2006, 7, and 8, right? When the market was still going up, and 8 was pretty flat market, if not declining, similar to this market. And then 9, similar. And then we started seeing heavy declines in 10, 11, 12, 13. And then we really didn't start to see increase until the beginning of 14.
15, it started.
And then boom. 14,
16,
14 was crazy.
Skyrocket.
17 was flat again.
Yeah.
That
18,
was,
part of 18, I think, too.
And then we were off again 19.
When
and
those
then
rates got to
COVID was
3,
20.
5, 2.
Yeah. And then we got to COVID 20, and then 21 was on fire. 22 was on fire. All the way through May of 2023, when rates started to go up and then it was flat.
They needed to work from home.
Yeah.
So it just.
So we could show you the data of like what happened to those properties, and then how long did it take to recoup, and then where did they go beyond that?
Well, I always think about when we started first, when COVID hit, and we were talking to the economists right before that.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how in Dallas Fort Worth, over the data they had over the last 50 years.
Yeah.
If you bought a house and you wait 10 years, you don't lose money.
Never.
Nobody's lost money. And this is data. I'm not saying like, maybe one person did. You could come out of the woodwork and say, well, I did.
Yeah.
But no, I'm talking about like statistics.
Yeah.
I'm talking about data that was collected by this particular economist. Just so you know, it's like you buy a house now in 10 years, you're gonna make money.
Yeah. So
nobody's ever lost money doing it.
Exactly.
So if you're the first person, hey,
we're sorry.
Okay,
well,
but yeah, so that's what I have.
Okay,
let's closing thoughts.
Okay, closing thoughts.
Okay.
Closing thoughts by Ian Starr.
Okay. So remember, protecting your rental property assets is about preparation.
Sorry, Rocky's
but he's a smart boy. It's okay, Rocky. Hey, go sit. Okay. From setting up the right legal structure, let me start over there. Remember, protecting your rental property asset is about preparation. So what we're trying to do is prepare you. And what you need to do is prepare yourself. From setting up right legal structures to understanding local laws and navigating market conditions, being informed is your best defense and also your best offense. So if you enjoy this episode of Oregon Trail Live, make sure to subscribe for more insights on real estate investing and property management. I'm Ian Starr. This is Heather Anderson. And until next time, keep growing your real estate knowledge.
I like that. Yeah. Did you say it was Oregon Trail?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I did, right?
I think so.
So, yeah. If you enjoyed this episode of Oregon Trail Live, make sure to subscribe for more insights on real estate investing and property management. I'm Ian Starr. This is Heather Anderson. Until next time, keep growing your real estate knowledge.
And we'll see you from this part of America.
Dallas, Texas.
Bye. Bye. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for coming.
Let us know your thoughts. And
subscribe.
Mean, don't let us.
Share. If you're going to be mean, don't. Yeah.
Just be nice.
Yeah. We didn't do anything to you.
No, we're just trying to help.
Yeah.
Okay, is this the end?
Yeah. No, you go. Yeah, I think so, right?
That bottom thing.
And we're out.
Okay.
Did you click it? You didn't click it.
No, I can't read it from there.
It's like end, right?
Okay.